I'm Brooke Wallace, filling in for Max Brantley with your Arkansas Times News headline updates for Monday, April the 16th. Record keeping was almost non-existent at the Northwest Arkansas Development District, the agency responsible for dispersing the legislative general improvement funds at the heart of a public corruption trial in Fayetteville. The agency's deputy director testified today. Doug Thompson of Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette provided the report. Jeremy Ragland, deputy director of the Northwest Arkansas Development District, testified today in the federal corruption trial in which former state senator John Woods and consultant Randall Shelton are defendants. This is week 2 of the trial. The government alleges that Woods and former state representative Micah Neal, who has already pleaded guilty, directed hundreds of thousands of dollars to the tiny Ecclesia College in Springdale in return for kickbacks. The Bible College's president, Orrin Parrish III, recently resigned and pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy. Shelton is accused of playing a middleman role in the kickback scheme. Ragland testified today that before he took over the grant program in November of 2014, the agency never checked to make sure grants were spent as they were intended. Record keeping was so bad, Ragland said, that Woods and Neal weren't notified that $400,000 they had directed to Preferred Family Healthcare was returned to the agency. Preferred Family Healthcare, or PFH, is a Missouri healthcare provider that operates mental and behavioral health clinics throughout Arkansas. Federal prosecutors have said that Wood and Neal participated in a kickback scheme with PFH as well. In related news, PFH announced today that it had hired former state Supreme Court Justice Betty Dickey to oversee its Arkansas operations. Moving on, ABC News has published the full transcript of George Stephanopoulos' long interview with former FBI Director James Comey, some of which aired last night on 2020. Among the highlights, Comey said, quote, "I don't buy the stuff about him being mentally incompetent or early stages of dementia. He strikes me as a person of above average intelligence who's tracking conversations and knows what's going on. I don't think he's medically unfit to be president. I think he's morally unfit to be president," end quote. And in what's sure to drive the president insane, Comey said Trump has average-sized hands. A new poll finds that Arkansans broadly support a state-level earned income tax credit. Such a tax would reduce tax liability on low and moderate-income working people. It's historically been viewed by both parties as one of the most effective tax credits for providing a ladder out of poverty. Many states have their own EITCs to complement the federal EITC. The polling was conducted by Mason-Dixon Polling and Research and commissioned by Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, long a champion for state-level EITC. The release of the poll results comes on tax day. In Arkansas, at least, the recognition of Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. gives you one more day on your federal return. It also comes amid meetings by the Legislative Tax Reform and Relief Task Force, which plans to unveil recommendations for tax cuts ahead of the 2019 legislative session. Governor Hutchinson has already said he wants to reduce the top marginal income tax rate, which would amount to a $180 million cut in state revenues. Other results from the poll: 3 out of 4 want Arkansas to invest in after-school and summer programs across the state. About 2 out of 3 Arkansans support increasing state funding for pre-kindergarten, and about 2 out of 3 Arkansans oppose cuts to Medicaid funding. Well, that's all your news headlines for today. You can read more on the Arkansas blog. Thank you and see you tomorrow.